Howdy folks, how's it going? I'm Atticgoblin and today we are going to be making like a nutty curry, a mild one. So first you want to take your onions, dice them up nice and fine. It's a nice slice. Everybody likes to do the slicey slice. Pop them into a bowl to the side. It's around 2 medium onions, or maybe 1 large would be good. So roughly that amount, almost a bowl full. Then take 3 cloves of garlic, get them into nice tiny pieces, Dice. And then once you've got that nice and fine, you want to stick that in the same bowl as your onions. And pop that bowl to the side. And get another bowl, and you want 1 tablespoon of ground ginger. You can use fresh ginger, it just seems to be really hard to get hold of for some reason, don't know why. And you have to pound it if you do. So ground ginger's easier. Then you want 3 tablespoons of ground coriander. Nice big tablespoons. It is escaping in there. And 1 tablespoon of cumin. And you want 1 teaspoon. Then you want 1 teaspoon of turmeric. Stick that in your nice little bowl. In you go. And if you take 1, I've taken 1 dried chilli, which should make it quite mild. Obviously take the seeds out, otherwise it's going to be really strong. Obviously if you want it stronger, put more in there. And get it nice and sliced. Put a few of the slices aside, just for garnish for later. And then chop it like you mean it. Come on. And you want to get that really fine. Wasn't quite as dried as I'd hoped, that chilli. There's a lot of oil coming off it. It's all over my fingers. Do not put them in your eyes. It hurts. I know. So it'll be roughly 2 teaspoons full of slightly dried chilli. If you're using chilli powder, just use 1 teaspoon. Next, you want to get Mr. Lemon. Chop him in half. And then squeeze. This is in a different bowl. Put your powders and spices to the side. In a totally different bowl. Nice liquid bowl. Liquid tiny bowl. Squeeze it. If any pips fall in, get them out. But I seem to be lucky and no pips today. And get your salt and pepper and give a few twists of each into your lemon juice. And we will pop this to the side. We're doing all the prep first. Open up your cans of coconut milk if you're using cans or wherever you get them in. You want 600 millilitres, which is about a can and a half. Now you want some boiled water and a nice vegetable stock cube or veg bouillon. It'll be about a teaspoonful if you're using bouillon. Put it in the jug and drown it. Drown it in about just over a quarter of a pint of boiling water or boiled water. And give it a little stirry. Put that to the side. Now you want to get your nuts in a nice dry frying pan with quite a high heat. Just keep shaking them. Shaky. It's good. Once this starts to get a little bit of colour, on them. It's a little harder to tell with the almonds, but the cashew nuts, you'll see they start to go brown around the edges. Then they are done. You can get them roasted if you want, but I like to roast them myself. Then they're nice and soft. Then put your nuts in a small stone bowl. Once your nuts are in the small stone bowl, you need to grab another piece of stone and crush them. Crush your nuts. Smash them. Get all the juices out. Depending on how... I like it roughly done, so there's a bit of powder and still some fairly decent sized nuts. Because they will be quite soft. Put that in a separate bowl to the side, your nuts. Next, you want to get your meat. I'm using lamb. You can use any meat you want. Chicken. Yeah, you can use beef, chicken. Yeah, I use lamb. Lamb is lovely. Goat, if you can find goat. You can't really get it around here. You can also buy it diced. I just like quite chunky bits. Usually when you get it diced, it's not that chunky. So chop all this up and put in its own little bowl. So by this point you've got a bowl with lemon juice, salt and pepper, a bowl with spices, a bowl with onions and garlic, and a bowl with meat. About that much. This is for 3 people, so obviously take less. Take 2 cloves and 2 cardamom pods, put them into hot oil. You need to make sure the oil's hot. About 2 tablespoons of oil is hot before you put it in. Then about half a teaspoon of mustard seeds. You can use mustard powder, but if you are using mustard powder, put it into your ground powder bowl with the coriander and stuff like that. Otherwise it will go wrong. With the mustard seeds, I like to make them pop. After a few minutes, the mustard seeds and the cardamom pods and stuff should start exploding. This is good. And very, very fun. Let them explode, a bit like popcorn. Once it starts to die down, and you know they're done, that is when you want to add your onions and garlic bowl. And give them a good stir. Stir. Around 5 to 10 minutes, possibly 15. You should have it on a medium heat, depending on the pan. That's why I like this pan. It's got a really wide bottom. After they are starting to get translucent, add most of your stock. You want to leave around 2 tablespoons. I will stir it in and then I will show you. Around that, just a little bit, just for later. Pop that to the side. Okay, you want to keep them on a medium heat. Let's turn the light on because it's getting a bit dark. I'm not sure if you can see very well now. It's fine. Keep them on a medium heat. Move your camera around and stir. Keep stirring occasionally until almost all of the liquid is gone and the onions are very translucent and they're starting to break up. Okay, so not much liquid left, so add your powder bowl with all your spices and stuff and give that a nice good stir. Don't worry if it gets really dry, it's fine. Give a really, really good stir. Then cook it for a minute or 2 and then add the last bit of your water. That should make a lovely little paste. Okay, cook for about 5-10 minutes. And then add your meat. Slap it in there. Slap your meat in the pan. And give that a really good stir to get all the spices around the outside of the meat. And cook. Still on your medium heat. For around 10 minutes. Depending on which meat you're using. With it being lamb, it's like beef, so you don't have to cook it too much. You can eat it raw if you want. As long as it's from a good butcher's. And once the meat's pretty much on its way, as I say, about 5-10 minutes, add your coconut milk. Don't worry if it's split in the tin like it has for me, that's absolutely fine. It does that sometimes. The cream rises to the top and solidifies and the juice stays at the bottom. Once it starts to heat up, it'll mix back in again, so that's fine. Just let it heat up, give it a really good stir. It should all mix in with itself. Okay, so around 20 minutes later, it should be nicely bubbling, bubbly. Stirring occasionally. Add in your nuts. Put your nuts in. Give them a whirl. With the nuts, you can use more if you want it. Tasting more of nuts. You can use less, it just depends on your tastes really. It should be mild flavouring. If needed, after about half an hour, after about 20 minutes with the nuts in there, add some cornflower. Give that a really good stir. It should hopefully be nice and thick. If it's not thickened up, either add more cornflour, a little bit more, there we go. I think I added slightly too much coconut milk, which is why mine's a little runny. I didn't stick to the 600. Okay, so take that off the heat, and then you want to add your lemon juice, pepper and salt. Give that a nice little stir. Stirry. 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 Then, depending on whether or not you want it with rice or naan bread or whatever you're having with it. I'm having rice and naan bread because I want both. Pop your rice onto the plate. Some people like to put the curry on top of the rice, some people like to put it to the side. Totally up to you. You do you. I like to put on top and then use poppadoms with giant forks. Make a little hole in the middle so it doesn't escape. And put on your nice meaty nutty curry. It's beautiful. Oh, look at them nuts. Look at that meat. No, the sauce is escaping. Look. It's like lava. Awesome. And garnish with a little bit of the chopped chilli and the bits that you put to the side. Let's just make it a little nice little flower. There we go. Beautiful. And that is my recipe for a nutty mild curry. Slightly over mild when you cover it in bits of chilli, but whatever. But okay, so I think that's it for today. I will speak to you guys in the next video. Cheers for watching, mateys. Join the Goblin Army. Bye bye.